everybody. So I've had my lunch, now I'm walking back home, and I'm going to talk about my 10 favorite bands of all time. So not in any particular order. I guess you could say bands and musicians, because the first person is a solo artist. It's Debbie Gibson. And I know what you're saying. Why are you so interested in Debbie Gibson? Well, when I was 16, I was really inspired to do music when I saw this 16-year-old on MTV, person a few months younger than me, making music and having hits. And she's still the youngest person to write, produce, and record a #1 song for Foolish Beat. She is an inspiration to me, and that's why she's one of my favorite musicians. And I do like her music. She was like the Taylor Swift of her day, except she didn't write songs about ex-boyfriends or anything like that. I also like Queen. Queen had probably the greatest frontman in history with Freddie Mercury. Not to mention their guitar player, Brian May, is one of my big influences. I mean, come on. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Bohemian Rhapsody, all these great songs. I like them. They have the guts to put out Bohemian Rhapsody when they didn't think, the record company didn't think that radio would play it, but they did. And now it's a staple on classic rock radio. Then there's Iron Maiden, who's one of the most respected metal bands out there. They've been around since the 70s, and they've gone through a lot of members. They're still just as good today as they were back when they were really, really big, back at the Number of the Beast. Although Number of the Beast isn't my favorite album. My favorite album from Iron Maiden is actually Somewhere in Time. The Police. It's a real shame that the Police broke up only after 5 albums. Because they are absolutely brilliant. Stuart Copeland is actually my favorite drummer. He may not be the greatest drummer of all time, but I really like his style, the way he plays the cymbals. So, yeah, definitely. Pink Floyd. Gotta love the Floyd, man. Even though some of their early work was kind of weird. First album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, is actually pretty good. It's got the original lead singer, who was Syd Barrett. Of course, he kind of went nuts. So he only appeared on one song on Source Full of Secrets, and then was left dismissed from the band. But come on, they've got my favorite album of all time, Dark Side of the Moon. They've got my favorite guitarist of all time, David Gilmour. So Pink Floyd is definitely up there. Of course, you can't have a top 10 list of favorite rock bands without the Beatles. And they were really experimental. And they were really good. And Sgt. Pepper is one of the greatest albums of all time. What else can you say about the Beatles? Really, pretty much nothing. Of course, there's always Duran Duran, who are actually my favorite. The Rio album is just absolutely classic. All You Need Is Now is absolutely classic too, even though they just released it a couple years ago. Rio is just awesome. Duran Duran, I love Duran Duran. A lot of people think, when they think of Duran Duran, they think of boy band. But they're not a boy band, definitely. Listen to their music, they're definitely not a boy band. Of course, when I was 10 years old, I went to a friend of mine's house to check out some robots. And he had these pictures of these 4 guys with really weird makeup on. And that was my start for the love of the band Kiss. Yes, I'm a big Kiss fan. Always have been for, I don't know, since I was 10 years old. And even the time they didn't have makeup, I was a big fan of them. And they really need to be put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think they've made it yet. They really need to be inducted. Come on, they got the ultimate rock and roll song, Rock and Roll All Night. So you gotta put them in. Speaking of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, this year Rush is getting in, and they're another favorite band of mine. I like them because they're completely complex and very strange, and they can do some very cool things with music. Come on, 2112. It's absolutely brilliant song and album. Actually, my favorite is Moving Pictures, but definitely Rush. Of course, not to mention Metallica. I love Metallica, even though they went through this weird alternative phase. Metallica were really good, or are really good. Biggest band in heavy metal right now. Sell out every place they go. Usually only play huge stadiums. Okay, I'm home now. Who are your favorite bands? Leave a comment or video response. And I'll see you next time. Blessings. Going off to be a wild woman in a rocket.